At 5, First News told you about the Victims Compensation Fund here in Ohio. The state agency is supposed to pay crime victims for their losses, but only half of its $14 million budget actually goes to victims. Now 27 Investigates reporter Amanda Smith joins us in the studio with a look at two very different victims who applied to this program.
Erica, thousands of people apply to the Victim Compensation Fund every year, and out of the 100 or so claims paid out in the Mahoning Valley, only 14 of them were paid to African Americans.
I think about it every day.
This is Carrie Weaver. 2 of her 7 sons, Rashad and Devon Bailey, were murdered within 6 months of each other.
It just hurt because I don't see 2 of them walking in the house.
She applied to the Crime Victims Fund to get help paying for their funerals.
They denied me. And see, Rashad had 4 kids. And I thought you'd get something behind that because them are surviving kids.
The state said an autopsy turned up a morphine-based drug in his system. For Devon,
they said $150.
Then the state denied most of her claim because she got a donation to cover some expenses. But Weaver says that donation, it didn't cover nearly enough.
Yeah, we had to do it ourselves. Family and friends and schools. And church.
Matt Kenai oversees the fund for the Attorney General's office. He says that some people are denied automatically.
If you are a felon or have committed an act that would be deemed a felony in the state of Ohio in the last 10 years, particularly ones that are related to drug abuse, crimes of violence.
But when I checked Rashad's criminal background, I found no drug charges and no felony convictions in the last 10 years. He was denied solely on that autopsy finding. So I examined every application from Mahoning, Columbiana, and Trumbull County last year. I found another case that raised questions about that policy. This is the manhunt police launched for Rico Acevedo. In June 2015, he beat his ex-girlfriend in Girard. Her name is Carly Diamond. She used to work as a nurse at Northside Hospital until November of 2014 when the state took away Diamond's nursing license. She admitted taking narcotics from the hospital and using the drugs herself. 1 year later, the Victims Fund gave her $2,500 related to the beating. One big difference, Diamond is white. Weaver and her sons are black. This story is repeated all across the Mahoning Valley. More than half the time I found that white victims of crime, they're paid their claims. But if you're black, only 28% of those claims are approved. Dr. Valerie Callanan studies crimes and victims of crime at Kent State University.
I think that it would be very hard to argue that everything else can be explained away, that there is no race effect.
That's not fair to nobody. Because there's a lot of parents out here that lost kids, and they go down into the victim of crime, and they get denied too. They'll try to bring up any little thing just to deny you.
Weaver says she couldn't afford to bury her sons or even buy urns. Those are her boys' ashes in cardboard boxes on the shelf. The Attorney General's office tried to assure us that race does not play a part in their decisions on the crime fund, but I'm not done with this story. I'm going to keep working to get answers from the Attorney General on why there's this gap in our area. And also, just today, I filed a new public records request. I want to see if what I found out here in our area carries through to the rest of the state. Reporting in the studio, Amanda Smith, 27 Investigates.